jungle lagoon. There's a small lake further in. The camp is set up. You have like some tents that are a little bit elevated from the ground, and you've been there for a little while. You wake up. The rest of the group is sleeping. And Tavi, where are you? Oscar, where are you right now? Like, how is Oscar dealing with waking up in this wilderness and not having any water immediately nearby?
It's been surprisingly easy. Having to count the ounces of water and supplies that you have at all times, it's a bit tiring, you won't lie. However, he is always feeling fresh in his heat-resistant and air-conditioned environmental suit, as he does not have to be assailed by the heat or freezing colds that sometimes haunt these planets.
So I imagine, so you're sleeping in an environmental suit?
Mm-hmm.
I imagine
Obviously.
you wake up with like condensation, like big droplets on the inside of your visor. Everything is like wet and runny and nasty.
Yeah, the humidity is the thing that bothers him the most.
What do you look like?
You would see a very small statured man with of 1.5 meters tall, cladded in a dark green environmental suit with the Astra Telepathica robes over it. He's currently toying from time to time with a bell, a small round bell in his hand, tied with a string around his middle finger. He also recently acquired a small feathery friend, which he just sits around and
Oh.
asks it different questions without speaking loudly, but you can feel a communion of sorts between him and this creature. He would look around to make sure that the surrounding area is also safe. What is weird is that from that time when you heard that almost ear-shattering bell of a palisade or a citadel that has run above you, you still feel that weird protection around you. Clearly, Austral is not willing to let go of that just yet.
Awesome. And
Also, long fingers.
Private Guy, as you wake up in your flak armor, there's some small like straws of grass and nature stuck in your armor. You sort of peel it off. It's a little bit wet. Your boots are super wet, and there's a heavy moisture in the air. A little bit, almost like a white mist hanging in there. That morning fresh smell of nature is here, and you can hear the trickling of water in the distance. Where are you? What do we see?
So, what you would see is a small, statured, almost bent over guardsman rolling out from underneath the transport vehicle. He'll have in his hand a little bit of grease, which he dabs under his nose. So it is, so that what he has the smell of grease and engine oil and things like that, instead of this putrid, fresh tree smell. Says, which is just completely, just completely out of the norm. He'll also, obviously not particularly care that his uniform is pretty much filthy, having lain on the ground all night. The weapon, however, has been kept incredibly clean, so it is, and he will be as he's standing up, slowly adjusting what look like milk bottle glasses, which are tinted on his head. And will basically start to look around, taking his surroundings, have a big sigh, and become even more sort of bent over and rat-like as he moves towards the others.
Awesome. This guardsman stands up, and Private Cleo. Where are you?
Private Cleo is, for all intents and purposes, dressed as a normal guardsman. The only thing that really stands out about him is his gloves. They seem to be a little thicker and cleaner than usual, and stamped on his shoulder, or on his shoulder plate, is the Medicae symbol. Behind him floats a servo skull. Its small hum ever present as it floats around. He's just making rounds around the camp, every now and then looking through the scope of his las gun, or his long las, that seem almost mockingly has the word Medicae scratched across the side of it. That's me.
Nice. Alright, you'll wake up. Go. Take it away. You're free to move wherever you want, by the way.
Cleo will still be making his rounds around the camp, just taking time to make sure everything's alright. Make sure nothing is creeping up on them.
I'll start with take his morning flask and drink a hefty amount of water from it. Bountiful nectar.
Nice. Inspiration points.
While he's doing that, G would have come up to the remnants of a small campfire that was lit the night before. Will take out one of his ration packs and a mess tin. Looking at the mess tin, you can see that it has literally probably been cleaned once or twice in its entire use, and will basically just slop that on top, stick it over the campfire for a short space of time so that it's just literally lukewarm. We'll take out a little bit of water, take a wee bit of grease from his nose and just stir it into the water and just start having breakfast.
Awesome. There are some berries and natural fruits around that you can eat, and as you look up, there are a few birds as well flying above. As you remember from yesterday, as soon as you went out to hunt, all the other animals in the forest, even though it seemed unlikely that they could hear it, seemed to react and disperse from the area. They have slowly gathered back, and you can see a little reptilian creature here, a little butterfly-like creature, and all these little flying small entities in there look like flies. As you walk over this marsh and your boots make a squishy sound. You still have all your equipment, and your dune carriage and motorbike is parked nearby.
With Cleo, just looking around the camp, he would see G eating, and he would put a hand over his own stomach, just shaking his head as he goes back to watch. He wants to eat, but he knows keeping watch is far more important than how he feels. He just continues his rounds around the camp.
Nice. So you're just walking in nature?
I'm taking since I would assume this is how the area looks, like a half circle area. I'm going from over here to over here to over here, and just kind of constantly looking about, making sure nothing's creeping.
Scholastic lore nature or scholastic lore beast, you can choose.
I have neither of those.
Anyone can do it. So just rummaging around and walking around the camp.
That's scholastic lore stuff. Well,
Hmm.
I'm sure the Hiver will definitely know.
Nope.
Ooh.
Oh, you actually had nature.
Oscar, as you step over one of the plants, you notice, you look down. It looks somewhat familiar.
The leaves pattern.
As
The
you look down,
coloration.
it looks like otter, which is a type of fungus that grows on the trees here. When burnt, it gives off a toxic, a very strong nerve toxin.
Private G, as he takes a sample of the plant. Actually,
At
we
which
still
point
have
G
those.
will speed.
We still have the small. We do a vial, right? We do have those small
Yeah.
vials with nothing in
Exactly. You do.
them. So
Can I have that vial of poison y'all gave me?
I'll place the fundus in one of these vials, and then with an unnatural speed, turn around, Oscar saying, "Private G, town, town," with a very toothy grin. Some of his teeth seem to be crooked.
This G will slowly stand up and slowly make his way across, taking his food and water with him. It is not relinquishing, like a grip on them, and slowly goes up to Ulskar before saying, "Yes,
How good is your
sir."
throat?
How good is my throat?
Yes.
So, okay, well, G won't know how to answer this, so instead, we'll bend down and pick up a rock and throw it at a tree, which is, say, close enough. It fails to hit the tree. So it sort of falls about halfway between us and the tree, so not far at all. And basically, he will then look back to Ulskar and sort of give a what's the word? A sort of uncomfortable smile to him, as though, what do you call it? Is that good or bad?
Iffy. What about your aim?
Okay. Yes, it's.
Excellent. As he just.
And just aims, what do you call it, the tree, and shoots and hits it dead on.
Wow, fucking net one. Nice. Excellent. As he pulls out the vial and says, "This device is most dangerous in hands of the.
He takes a step back.
Fear not, as long as you don't break it and burn it, it should be fine. I will give you from time, hopefully, a mental signal when to throw it at the target. Do you think you will be able to manage it, Dartsman?"
I'll try.
That's all I'm asking.
With a rather unsure, with a rather unsure look in his face.
Fear not, Dartsman. There will be no consequences from me if you fail. The only person you'd have to blame would be yourself. as he leaves the vial and walks off to do something else.
And you can see in G's face that he's actually rerunning those words back in his head. No consequences for me, you only have yourself to blame. And with that, he just shakes his head and goes back to eating his food. But occasionally, whenever you'll sort of look over, you'll see him sort of mentally running through the scenario again, knowing that something is not quite right, but he's just not smart enough to put his finger on it.
Hold up.
After a while, Cleo would be done making his rounds, and he's finally deciding to eat. But he takes out a full covered ration pack, just turning it over in his hands, squeezing it slightly, and the crinkly sound of the foil, easy to hear. He knows what's inside it, and knows it's not too palatable, to say the least. So as he makes his way back over to the campfire, he's going to be looking for something to flavor it. Maybe some plants or berries, something just to help cover the flavor, and something that will not kill him.
Do nature tests. Scholastic Law Nature.
Oh, never mind. Whoops, I don't have.
Oh yeah,
nature.
survival works as well. Sure. You pick up some what sort of little basilica, or what do you call it? Like little spicy herbs near one of the cliffs. It's a little bit of a moist area, and you pick up some of it, sort of just looking at it and inspecting it. You assume it will be safe to eat, but as you do, a little bird is going to land right in front of you and sort of tilt its head sideways, back and forth, looking at your food ration.
Looking at my rations.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I haven't opened it yet, but I'll
I thought you said you opened it and squished it.
No, he was just squishing it around, just feeling it, almost oh, I know what's in here, and I'm afraid.
Whenever you open it, the bird will land.
Okay, he'd be over here. He'd open it, he'd see the bird, and take out. He'd look in it. He'd mix it all around before pulling out a little. It almost looks like a little round, like a corn nugget almost, and hold it out to the bird.
The bird will jump a little bit forward. It's still about 1 meter away from you. The other that you're holding, the fungi, you know that if someone breathes in the smoke from it, they have to be quite close though. They will start to lose touch with reality. It's a pretty strong toxic substance, and usually it makes the victim believe that they can fly. They will try to jump off surfaces eventually.
Well, I'm going to continue, or Cleo would continue to offer the bird the food, the little small, almost little breaded piece.
It does not get close to your arm, but if you drop it, it will jump over and eat it.
He would toss it to the ground then, and in order to let it have it, Cleo would take off his helmet and take off his gloves, and you can see on his hands he has some tattoos, painted fingernails, seemingly something to do with his hive world of Desolium. He would take the bag, pour a little water into it from his canteen, and grind up the leaves as much as he can and pour them in, and just set it over the fire and let it boil. After a while, he would pull it back, take out a spoon and mix it together, and he would start eating. It appears to be almost like a bag of noodles with little round bag of noodles with little round chunks of meat, bread, vegetables, almost like they were compressed into little balls to pack as much nutrients as they can. He nods his head as he puts a thing of recap on to boil. and just looks back to Guy, to Oscarl, and then looks and realizes that fungus is nearby, and he's just going to scoot over, just ever so slightly from it.
You can tell
After
from it that Oscar is completely absorbed by it. At any point in time, any of you can do a Scholastic Lore Beast test at -10, and then a Command test at -10.
Cleo's just
Just feel free
eating.
while,
to do a couple of those.
Want me to try it?
Yeah.
As Oscar is making his meal, you can actually see that G would have been looking to see what he's actually sort of got. And whenever it actually sort of comes out with noodles and little bits of meat, he looks down at his own, which is essentially a grey sludge. So it is completely unappetizing, a horrible smell coming from it. And as he sort of sees that he's sort of given little bits to the birds, you'll hear him mutter under his breath, perhaps we shouldn't feed the wildlife, and if you have enough to give away, perhaps you should give it to your comrades.
The Emperor giveth, the Emperor taketh. Do not be so jealous as to not give back to which is not rightfully yours, guardsman.
Cleo, I would say, given how close they are together, would hear that, he would just he would just.
Yeah. It was said in a sort of way that he would hear it, but in a sort of whispering, sort of muttering to himself, but enough so that you would hear it.
Well, Cleo would slow his eating and turn, stick the spoon in the thing, hold it out to you, and yank your food out of your hands and put his in yours. As he goes to eating yours and just gives you a sort of look that says, "Eat up, then."
And G will just shrug his shoulders and start eating.
It's pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah, it's not bad.
The food
Tastes
is
like ramen.
squishing in your mouth. It's quite hot, and it's getting warmer as the sun is coming up. The air is filled with this little luminescent flying creatures that sort of hover around you and very quickly jump from side to side. The nature is very alive, every color is bright. The trees reach further up than you can see. They just disappear into this misty fog above. And as you look over, the rest of the group is still sleeping.
But I'll say that your ration isn't the greatest, but it's still better than the Solium fare. Corpse starch. Ugh. Cleo just mentioned something about corpse starch and just quickly shakes his head. Ugh, never want to eat that again. I'd just rather have a piece of raw grogs.
G doesn't hear a thing as he is scoffing yours down like there's no tomorrow before you change your mind and take it back.
Cleo just shakes his head and just mixes some like he goes and gets some more of those leaves and mixes it into the slop that he has. When he comes back, he sees the recap is done. He'll pour everyone up a cup and he'll just down his in one gulp. You can see him kind of wince almost as it goes down. It's just you can see him wince as it goes down and just yes, that is what I needed. Maybe I'll be able to get some more recap soon. Maybe we could find some stuff for tea. Oscar, you've all the plants here. Do you think any would be good for tea?
Would not recommend that which is not provided by the Minotaur. As you would hear,
pretty
you know that sound you make when drinking from like a McDonald's cup? You'd hear that
slurping.
as Austral sucks from a protein tube. Get his beautiful brown viscous protein into his system as the
Am
tube
I
keep.
am I the only one who opted for actually edible food that tasted good? It may have cost me the majority of my salary, but am I really the only one who opted for it?
The special imperialis tin paste provided by the gracious emperor through the Minitorum is delicious, darling.
I'm not. Cleo looks into his food, stabbing the fork into gruel, pulling it up, and almost like a non-Newtonian liquid as he goes to pull it out, sticking to the spoon. But then when he relaxes it and lets go, it just pulls the spoon back down into it. I'm not. I. He just goes back to eating, shoveling the slop, and knowing that anything he says now will only make the situation worse. So he just decides to shut himself up with whatever he's eating.
You are not wrong. However, it is that my physiology is much different than yours. I would rather not assail my senses with food that has too much of a powerful taste. It would make
That
me blind in a way.
Yeah, well, I don't know anything about witches, so I'll listen to your word on that.
My good friend, there is a difference between a witch and a psyker. If you wanna know the difference, check your pulse. But if you were a witch, well, then
I
So,
suggesting that I would be dead.
I wouldn't
G
call it
has
dead.
been listening
like-
to the.
Go ahead.
Oh, so, no, carry on.
I wouldn't say dead, more like foaming at the mouth and possibly shaking a bit as you fail to inhale air anymore.
So I mean, this is pardon my misunderstanding. There is a difference in psychers and witches. Like you can see, like he set down his food on his knees, like he's like motioning like to one side psychers, to the other witches. Like he's genuinely confused about this.
I will provide you a lecture by my mentor. Are you aware of demons and means? Witches use power which is not of their own, they use the warp to manifest it. Fighters use the power of their target and surrounding, using ancient runes and subliminal messages known as means. Remember
Cleo nods. He's listening, but the fact that he may be understanding it, you could be lost. But he is listening intently.
It says, consider this. A witch will ask the warp for a favor to materialize a weapon that will strike you down. A psyker convinces you using your senses that he's holding a weapon. And if your mind registers it as being real, then it is. Basically, psychers convince you to defeat yourself.
You can see like sort of a blank look on Cleo's face as he, oh, and then that flash of understanding, that flash of realization. Oh, okay, now Now I see what you mean. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Now I understand more. Thank you.
At least this
That's
is
it.
one scroll of thought. There are many there.
Ah, but thank you for the enlightenment.
You both get an
Nothing.
inspiration. All of you get an inspiration point.
Leo's gonna go back to eating. It seems like it doesn't taste good to him. He's still eating it with a pretty large amount of gusto.
Noticing the
So-
readings on. Sorry. Go ahead.
So G has been listening to this entire conversation, rather confused, and towards the end of Oscar's explanation of a witch and a psyker, kind of bored. What he called, he once the conversation's turned over, he just snaps back and goes, "So, Cleo, why do you spend your money on rations? Why not just take them off the dead?"
Well, doesn't really
lit-
seem right.
He is actually perplexed by this.
I guess it's just. I mean, that's a good point. They're not going to be using it, but there's just something about having your own food, not really being in debt to a person alive or dead about it. He'd pull his hand up, rub the bridge of his nose. It's sort of a.
But if they're dead, but if they're dead, then you can't be in debt to them. And
Well, I mean, you sort of can.
no, I'm pretty sure I've been in debt to people before, and then ended up dead, and then the debt's gone away. And with this, he actually gives you a big toothy smile.
I guess it's a matter of principle for me. Just.
With this, he just raises his eyebrows and goes, "Okay," and sort of gives you side glances. I think he's quite right in the head, and goes to stand up and scan the forest.
As Oscar's environmental suit begins to display some readings onto his wrist, such as temperature, humidity, and others, he would say, "Let us hurry along, tear down this camp and move forward before the heat makes it even more unbearable to fulfill our function."
Seems that seems like a good point. Well, I'll get started getting everyone out of the tent and taking it down.
And with the last dregs of sort of water and things like that in G's mess kit, you basically just fling it away, look at it, give it a couple of licks, and put it back in his pack. And then help tearing down the tent.
Cleo would finish up your stuff, not leaving a scrap of it. But he sets the tent aside, puts his helmet back on, his gloves and everything, and begins to take it down.
As you pack your tent down and put everything in the vehicle, you sort of pull up your data slate and look at your report and notes your report from the Arch-Confessor. There is a path back to the Arch terminal. You also have your Vox equipment, you have clothing, food, everything you need for the journey back. What do you do?
I'll just be packing everything into the dune buggy.
Oscar would use both his senses and would also request his feathery friend to keep an eye out, while the others do the more physical labor.
Right. Yeah. You pack up, get in
He's
the
not
vehicles,
lazy, he's just efficient.
start the engine, and who wants to drive?
Fuck,
Not me.
not me.
Well, that leaves only one person then now, don't it? guess.
Oscar would ride shotgun
I-
with maps in hand.
Cleo would pile into the driver's seat, and that servo skull he has would float essentially on the dash, just slow there, and it would just turn to almost look at Oscar, and then just rotate slowly around, just constantly rotating in spot.
Right.
As Cleo will attempt to, or he's going to try and drive here. Well, not there. I mean, I can just drive through the woods and straight to Arc Terminal. Or actually, no, right here,
Yes.
and then right there, out of the woods, and then to Arc Terminal.
I'm posting your vehicles and their stats, their armor. Your dune carriage has 10 and 12 armor, 10 at the front. It has a targeter array, no weapon is attached to it. It is open topped, 90 kilometers per hour. It has enough room for 5 people. The all-terrain motorcycle that you have is has 5 armor. Has a top speed of 80 kilometers an hour. The vehicles are made to drive in difficult terrain. They can't drive in the forests here though. There are just too many trees, branches.
Yeah, no, I'm getting
hills
out
in the
into
way.
the.
And you're driving in the wilderness now, and they work fine here. And as you drive, I want you to roll a d100.
Who wants me to? Does anyone want me to do it?
Who's
Gonna drive it.
driving?
Drive us straight to hell.
Me.
As you sit in the driver's
Cleo.
seat, Cleo and James and the rest are behind you on the bike. You feel the wind catching the top of your visor. Are you wearing a helmet?
Yeah, I'm wearing a helmet.
Okay. Yeah, so you sit down and sort of the vehicle gets a little dirty, a little wet from your uniform. You will have to clean it up later. The area around your feet is sort of filled with grass and dirt and a little water. This small little puddle. As you sit in, it makes a little splash, and then you start up the engine and start to feel the wind catch up. As you drive up, you can see sort of this cloudy skies from where you were camping disappear behind you, and in front of you is this light purplish, bright orange sky. The horizon is kind of this golden, misty colored, and disappears ahead of you in these heat waves running up from the desert and the wasteland. The ground around you is cracked and pale. There's sand every here and there. But as you drive further out, everything becomes more and more dead. The wasteland is kind of... There are these large cracks in it, and you can see that there's evidence of some animals, as there are some animal tracks every here and there. But they disappear the further out you get, and everything just seems desolate and barren. As you drive out in the open, the only noise you can finally hear is the noise of your car. Slow humming as you're bumping over the occasional rock. What do you do? Also roll a d100
Cleo
for me,
would
please.
making sure that he's not going to.
Perfect. Yeah, I see it.
Well,
Before you
Cleo,
left,
take
did
care
you...
not to.
I'm so sorry. Before you left, Tavi, did you want to try to tame the bird?
Yeah.
Okay.
The result of the psychic power, I can tame it forcefully, but I would let it decide whether it wishes to come or not.
So I think you need to roll for psychic phenomenon, though.
I did.
You did? Okay.
Oh, I didn't roll doubles.
Oh, great. Okay, I didn't know.
In order
Then,
trigger psychic phenomenon.
You will lean down, and as you sort of whisper to this little bird, it takes a single jump and then jumps up to your shoulder, makes a loud squeak. The bird is about the size of your palms put together. It's not large, brightly colored, very fast, and it has a sharp, narrow expression. As you pick it up, you notice that it is completely tame. You now have a familiar or companion that you can note in your character sheet. I'll give you the stats later.
Nice.
As you get in the vehicle, your bird will be sitting next to you in the seat. It's sort of either sitting on your lap or you're holding it in your hands. You can also gift this...
It's on my head.
Yeah, you can also gift this companion to anyone you want. As you're driving, Private Cleo, do you have any
I'm going to
music?
let
or
on
anything?
the gas. Cleo does not. He's just driving in silence. If anyone wants to put on music, they can. But he's...
Do you want me to... Otra would pop the recorder as he puts his fire ecclesiarchy prayers mixtape.
Nice. Yeah, you hear a
Oh,
loud
Morton.
gong and then like chanting, and this loud singing in the background.
Yeah, exactly.
Little segue real quick, Morton. The fact that you put in a song from Enderall into the playlist, that has made my day, because that is my favorite game ever.
Yeah, this playlist, a lot of work went into it.
But
I even got help from like anyway, a dude. As the chanting plays
Cleo
up, there is an
Bob
ominous
head and
atmosphere that fills the car. Yeah, go on.
Leo will let up onto the gas a little bit, taking care not to drive anyone into a ravine. Something's eating at him. He's trying to get to Arc Terminal. He's trying to get there quickly. Not to the effect that anyone can see he's stressed. It's just, you can tell he doesn't like being out in the open like this. Or the fact being out in the open like this is a death sentence if someone was to ambush.
Uneasy, man.
A little bit. The fact we're out in the open like this. Well, I mean, you can understand.
Fully understand your feeling. And I do not judge you for your precaution. However, it does seem a bit foreign to me.
The unease or the planet?
The part of questioning one's longevity.
What about it?
Due to my occupation, I myself consider every day as my last day. So I'm not worried should a sniper round or a bow or a bolt fly through my skull. Due to my connections to the Materium, I faced my death at least 72 times while we were in that cave.
You,
So-
you can tell, even though he has his helmet on, you can tell his eyes widen at the fact as he just quietly moves. 72?
Yes, I do not peer into the future and see how I die. No, I relive the moment and attempt to obtain a successful outcome. Therefore, I have been assaulted in many ways. Not physically in this timeline, you would say, but mentally. However, my mind is not a fortress, it is more of a gate, and all traumas go through it and leave it. I'm fully sanguine with the fact that I may die at any second. The question is, how many times must I die until my final death? But I will let the philosophy later.
So G will just be listening to this, and whenever he actually sort of says, whenever Askellon says that he is basically avoided his death by mentally and everything else, you'll just hear a snort of derision.
Well, I am sorry that I'm not so physically apt as you, Guardsman.
You haven't actually faced those deaths, though, have you? It's all in your head. It's not real. And you also are able then to plot a course to avoid your final demise, something which myself and Cleo here are completely unable to do. So it's not really a curse, it's more of a boon, wouldn't you say?
Oh, certainly, I do agree with you, but I'll be honest with you, I am not certain of the nature of said power. Even though I am able to come unscathed after a few attempts, sometimes I still feel pain where I should have been hit.
Prefer to feel pain where I should have been hit than actually get hit.
Fair point.
And with this, he'll just light up a cigarette and, start looking off into the middle distance.
That thing will kill you faster than any other bullet.
Cleo will chuckle at that and shake his head. Oh, you would have loved Painted Angels then.
Something tells me that I wouldn't.
No, not really. You may have found the tattoos interesting. I'm pretty sure one of them had it. I want to say not inquisitorial. Who was it? I think an ecclesiarch, like Deacus or something. I remember it sprawled across their back, across their shoulders. Men united in the purpose of the Emperor are blessed in his sight and shall live forever in his memory. Man, that poor sop got shot right after. Jeez. Didn't even see that flesh cutter.
Just happens.
Just happens.
You cannot wear your faith like you wear your armor. Only protects you so far.
Oh, I don't even think he... I think I would like to say he was probably a heretic, but it was just interesting. It was the one he did paid the most for. It took him the longest to get the tattoo done. It was all ornate, all fancy.
I do not understand why you would decorate your body in such a way.
Oh, art, history. I mean, may as well spill it now. On Desulium, I used to be a part of the Painted Angels. We tattooed ourselves to record events, and just as a form of art.
A badge of office.
Yeah, to a degree. The more tattoos you had, really, the more venerable and older you are. There was one man. I don't even pretend to comprehend. He also managed to dye his beard and hair in such a way that it looked like tattoos. I have no clue. I mean, he must have spent I don't know how much that Lumion ink would have cost, but still.
You use aluminum in your tattoos. I'm certain that the mechanic is most displeased about these facts, as he says so with a bit of a laughter in his voice.
Cleo will shrug and you can tell he's holding back a chuckle. Yeah, they may be upset, but they don't ever have to find out.
On that we can agree. They're so inflexible, those men. Things sometimes.
As you approach the valleys surrounding Arch Terminal, you see a little mountainous hilly area. Do you want to drive into Arch Terminal?
Or
somewhere else? You're free to move wherever you want.
I'm gonna visit Arch Terminal. I mean,
well, it's your home.
We
it's
need
your base.
more supplies.
This has been where you've been at for months. The base is relatively new. Your arrival here is relatively recent. You've spent most of the time so far repelling natural predators and dealing with these unknown entities and these different cults on this world. And as you remember, Rund, the planet you were on, was swallowed by a warp storm and very recently spat out. The Imperium is just in the process of converting and telling the populace about reality, as they have over the millennia lost all of the knowledge that they had and reverted
Re-education.
to primitive ways. Yeah, exactly.
Well, Cleo would pull the what's the word I keep? The dune carriage. Would pull the dune carriage up to one of the more warehouse-like buildings.
Oh, I was
And
as you approach, you drive over this hill. You're gonna see a bright white mist covering this swampy landscape in the midst of hills and wetland surrounding our terminal. As you get a little closer, it is evening, going towards nighttime, and you are familiar with the entire base, so this is your home here. You do not have access to most of the base yet, as you are not you haven't been here long enough. You're not high ranking enough to have access to the very important witnesses, prisoners, commanding officers on Arch Terminal. You, however, are familiar with the Arch-Confessor Kane, and you've been in the shrine room several times. Your living quarters are small, bunk beds, sort of cramped rooms, and as you approach the terminal, you will see a landing platform sort of over the hills, over the mountains, and this metallic base sticking out from this green surroundings. There is an electric fence perimeter keeping natural prey away, and you're also going to see stumps for trees that have been cut down that you increasingly use for fuel or furniture. The platforms and this little repair pad has a bunch of tools, tubes, and machinery scattered around it, and it leads up to a hangar bay door that houses all of your vehicles and motorbikes. You're gonna see 2 Astra Militarum detachment insignia painted on the wall, and a couple of guards walking around in flak armor. As you turn the corner, driving on a road that you've dug yourself, you remember the hours you spent digging and putting this down. The captain is going to turn around and hail you as you approach.
I'm going to slow as I approach and wave at the captain and pull up alongside him and give him a nod. Returning from our mission, Captain.
He's going to turn around sort of as you screech to a halt next to him, sliding across the wet surface. He's just going to raise up his visor and slowly walk towards the vehicle. He has a slight stubble, black hair, a short, sort of very, very short mohawk, narrow eyes, sort of a wide hanging face. His eyes look a little tired as he sort of just mumble out, good to have you back. Where are you going?
Need to park this and take some things to the Arch-Confessor, my lord.
My lord? Did you eat something strange in the forest? Are you feeling well? Why are you calling me lord?
Sorry, just I guess just
He had some fungus in the forest earlier. We told him not to, but he decided to try it out anyway. It's passing. It's passing.
He has a slight smirk, and you can tell that he's extremely marked by battle. You can see several scars on his face, and he looks kind of dulled, and has this dead expression in his eyes.
Just going to shake my head at what Guy said, wave them all. Just kind of wave off what Guy said, and just go and park the thing. And after I park it, I'll turn to Oscar and kind of just rub my mask, or rub my helmet. Oscar, would you like to accompany me with the book to Arch-Confessor Kane? I feel fine carrying those gems, but that book, I don't want to touch it even with a shovel.
Quite the contrary, good sir. I believe that Private D here has all the necessary qualification to hold in his hands such a demonic artifact while making sure to not consume his soul. Isn't that right, Private?
Tormund, the guardsman, will follow you into the hangar, and is pointing at something, and you can't quite hear him yet.
Say again, Tormund.
He's just gonna yell across. Are you gonna wash the vehicle this time?
Yes, I'll wash it.
He's just gonna give you a mean look and sort of just over his shoulder as he slowly turns away, walks away.
Oh.
He's sort of tapping his microbead a couple of times, and you hear a little static as he comes back in your frequency. The Arch-Confessor has been waiting for you. When are you going to talk to him?
As soon as we can. We're heading there right now.
He gives a loud sigh as the connection ends. As you see his silhouette walk out the hangar bay door.
Clear's just gonna look to Oscar and shrug, what did I do wrong here?
Nothing. You have done everything right. As he leaves the dune carriage, he sees an armorer in charge of the hangar saying, "Armorer, message from the captain for you to clean this vehicle by the time we return. He looked very pissed.
Cleo's just gathering.
James. Captain Morpheus is in the car with you. Steps out. Captain Morpheus, what do we see? You are back at Arc Terminal. You're in a hangar bay right
Cooper,
now.
did you not hear Oscar? Get to cleaning out this damn van.
Nice. There's a little hose nearby. A little bucket and a mop.
Cleo's collecting together all the emeralds. Like, taking like I would assume they have a blanket and all. Like, putting them separate, like maybe about 2 inches apart from each other. How many did we get?
Blankets?
No, emeralds. Those gems the Confessor wanted us to.
I think you took one of them? Or did you took 2, maybe?
I think we got 2. One from the big dude and one from the shaman.
That's right.
Well, I would set them apart, but wrap the blanket and fold them so they're not touching each other, and like put that in a small box, like to kind of keep them contained. But then I see the book. I just slow pan look to Oscar. I'm not touching this. I'm not touching it.
Oscar would roll his eyes and, with a fierce streak, wrap his long fingers around the profane artifact. And under his left arm, he would have his data slate and the map with certain notes on it from the walls of the cave.
Well, let's go see the Arch-Confessor. And Cleo would take off in that direction as he wants to get this over with quickly.
Captain G, I presume you will also require to come with us.
Yes. And Captain Morpheus gladly accompanies his troop.
Might I remind you,
back.
G, that
With a sigh, G will follow, because the sigh was because he can smell the beginnings of dinner just floating on the air. So it is, and muttering under his breath, wasn't even there, don't even know why they need me. Says, follows along rather grumpily.
Nice. As you step into the main hallway, you're going to step on some loose metal platforms. Sort of looking around, everything is sterile, there's no artwork at all, just flat, smooth surfaces. Stepping further in, you're going to see this metal staircase leading down. Grit, is that the right grid? Yeah, where there's like little spaces between. Yeah, so, and the staircase is leading further down. There's also an elevator that has not been properly installed yet, so it is not operational. Leading further down, you only have access to the living quarters and the shrine room as of now. You can request access to the armory, but the inquisitorial agent that arrived with Cain has so far claimed authority over all of your equipment. So you do not have access to anything else than you are given explicitly by him. You only know that his name is Hector. You see the staircase leading down. Further in is the Arch-Confessor's shrine room. Where do you want to go?
Right to the armory.
Right on. You walk down the stairs, Morpheus, and like halfway down the stairs, there is an open door, or rather, there is a door. It is closed. There is a keypad next to it, and it's not a traditional door. It's like 2 metal slabs that are closed, almost like a safe.
Go up and I give 3 good hard pounds onto the door.
You are going to wait for a little while, and then nothing happens.
I'm gonna pound 3 more times.
Nothing
All I can
happens.
think of is like Cyberpunk. Knock on the door 4 times, 4 times exactly. Knocks 3 times and gets like destroyed by a massive amount of C4.
Yeah, you knock again, and there's just this echo of your knocking on the wall. This hollow metallic sound ricochets through the hall where everyone is standing. You're sort of looking down the stairs, looking at Captain Morpheus, your superior officer, just standing there in front of this door, knocking, looking over his shoulder, knocking again. No response.
Look down to the keypad. Do I see, is there a lot of dust on it, perhaps?
Not at all. It is newly dusted.
Do I see any numbers that look like they might have been keyed a lot?
You can
Or is
do
it-
a... no, actually, it's not visible with the naked eye.
I'm gonna try a tech use, just to, bypass it.
Alright. So Captain Morpheus now standing in front of this keypad. What kind of equipment are you going to use?
None. I'm just gonna start putting in random numbers into the keypad.
I'm going to say, if you have no specific clues to go on, all of your attempts fail. You're going to have again and again.
I'm gonna get onto the comm bead, and I am going to connect to the main ARC terminal and try to get in touch with an administrator here.
Okay, so you're gonna see Captain Morpheus put all his Voxcaster and sort of start flipping channels, and you are now on the Universal channel. Who do you want to talk to, or what do you say?
Where exactly is
While this is going on, he
Hector
is gonna
from
lean
the armory
across-
at? I'm outside the armory trying to get in. I need Hector to make his way down here so we can have a conversation.
Nice, nice. You get inspiration. What do the rest of you want to do?
I'm going to be.
He's going to lean over to. He's going to lean over to Cleo, and basically whisper in his ear, 10 credits. He gets arrested or shot.
20. No, 20. The
Done.
Arch-Confessor himself is in there doing something right now, and he's going to open the door and see him.
Done. And with that, he's going to just slap his hand.
Cleo give him a fist bump. Just waiting, just watching the door with bated breath as he gets out his it's basically his little bag full of credit chits.
Austral would sigh heavily as he takes, as he attempts to take the rolls of crystals from Private Cleo, saying, "If I knew it would be so easy to take your money, I would have done it myself." As he goes in the direction of Arch-Confessor Kane, which is in the opposite direction of where the armory is.
Yeah. I'm just watching I'm just leaning on the wall, watching, helmet off, like clipped to my belt at this point.
The armory doors are going to open as you all walk away, slowly sliding on. You're going to hear as various lights turn on further in. In the opening is Hector. He stands there, sort of just rugged, standing tall in front of you, Captain Morpheus.
So,
Yes,
what you working
you
on
called
there,
for me?
Hector?
Is there an emergency? Are we under attack?
No emergency. I'm just curious to see what you're working on in here that's so difficult.
He goes pale. You can see his eyes sort of just falling in disappointment. You had direct orders not to bother me unless it was critical.
I reach
What did you
into
not
my
understand
pack
about your orders?
and I pull out the purple panther. I pull out its skin, its carcass, not the carcass, but the what's it called?
Pelt.
Yeah, I pull out its pelt. And I let it
And I'll pull out
unfurl
the-
in my hand.
He's going to, with a trembling hand and an angry expression, pull out his voxcaster and switch it off, and look back at you, and he's slowly raising a knife in his hand, so just flipping it back and forth. I suggest you do not bother me again, Captain.
I suggest you allow my team access to this armory to get properly equipped. Otherwise, I might have to give this Purple Panther pelt to the Arch-Confessor to get him to give my team access.
He's going to walk back and close the door.
He
It
don't
slowly
care.
slides as you sort of look into each other's eyes. He's just going to give you this death stare.
As I see this, I'm going to quickly launch the pelt at him in a blinding attack, and I'm going to rush the fuck out of him.
James.
And as
Captain Morpheus.
and as I rush him,
Wait,
as
Captain
I
Morpheus.
rush him,
Are you sure?
Notice this is an "Are you sure?" GM moment, Doc.
I have
Well,
locked
well,
into
this is
the.
G
Am I
is-
being locked into the room?
No, you are outside the armory.
Oh.
Yeah. You're outside the
Okay, I
armory.
thought
He's just closing the door
I
on
thought
you.
I had walked in and he was locking it behind me.
No,
getting ready to
not at
kill
all.
me.
You're
Okay,
outside and
okay,
he's closing it in your face. You have a
As it's
moment,
closing-
however, as it's closing, you have a moment to interact with him. I see his pale blue eyes just stare into your soul. He slowly says, I will be informed of your new orders.
I'll be back. And I just quickly turn around.
You get an inspiration point as the door slowly closes. Captain Morpheus.
Arnold,
How do you say
Arnold.
it? Act it out.
I'll be back.
Really?
Really.
Okay. Nice. The door closes. And you're left standing there.
I'm
You
making my way to the
fail
Arch-Confessor.
to requisition equipment for your troops. However, you can absolutely try again later.
I'm going to.
Morpheus just gives a head nod to himself, saying, "Not every quartermaster is nice or giving, but hopefully the Arch-Confessor will like my gift."
You would know that this member of the Inquisition is not a quartermaster or any part of your hierarchy.
Cleo will look at the like claws and teeth of the panther thing, and kind of look sad and compared, like, I got this for the Arch-Confessor.
And while he's doing that and feeling sad and whatnot, G will come up to him with a big smiling face, saying, I think you owe me some money.
Cleo will sigh and pull out of his, essentially like his little, like a little coin bag, and get out like two 10 credit chits and just slam them down in your hand.
Pleasure doing business with you.
And he'll just roll his eyes, take off his gloves, and crack his fingers. And you can tell on the back of his left hand that he has like a really large tattoo that seems to glow a little bit in the dark. Many different colors, just very nice designs.
After see the glowing tattoo, you can see G looking at it, and he will slowly back away, the smile on his face gone, before
What?
following Captain Morpheus.
Right.
Oh, come on, G. Don't tell me you're scared. And he's going to just, like, wave his hand a little. It's nothing I
No,
can get rid of
I'm not.
now unless I get a new arm.
Well, if you don't get that arm out of my face, what do you call it, we might have that problem solved.
He'll put his gloves back on and give you thumbs up. Completely understandable.
And he will continue to follow Captain Morpheus to see the Confessor.
I'll join in now.
Further down the corridor, you would see Oscar asking Captain Morpheus as he approaches with, "Are we done messing about, Captain? Should we see the Arch-Confessor now? I'm certain he will enjoy our explanation of why we kept him waiting."
Yes, I'm sure he will, but that low-born wretch back at the armory might have to pay with his life for insulting the living shit out of me.
Might I remind you, Captain, that
And
even your name
you
is...
just see Captain Morpheus just rubbing his hands together, gripping them. You can hear the ceramite plates cracking slightly under the pressure, like he's very agitated.
Ostar about to deliver some sanctified burn, saying, "He might be a lowborn, Captain. However, I don't need to remind you that at least he owns his name, unlike you, who borrowed one from an Imperial saint. You're in no position to lord yourself over someone as him."
Whoa, whoa, whoa. What my parents chose to name me when I was born was on them. What the orphanage decided to give me as a name is on them. What the Scala Progenum chose to give me as a name was yet again on them. I did not have a choice in these matters. But that lowborn wretch insulted the shit out of me. And for that, I believe I must duel him.
Ostar will just nod reluctantly as to avoid further excitement and keep quiet as he continues in the direction of the shrine.
As you enter the shrine, you're going to see beautiful ornate surroundings, little cherub, this angelic baby-like creature flying in front of you. Do you want to say something, Dusky?
I was going to say what he called listening to this and walking behind Morpheus. G will lean into Cleo and say, "Want to win your money back?"
Sure. Why not?
Okay. If they duel, who wins?
Hector. Easily.
And with a rather annoyed face, what do you call it? As a, "Damn, that was my choice." What do you call it? G will hold out his hand for a fist bump.
He'll give you a fist bump for 40 credits.
Done.
All right.
Oh, God.
And that's it. I'll just follow along.
I think that I have the perfect way to frame this duel. As you can see around the camp, morale seems to be quite low. Maybe this duel will help liven things up. Get the men excited again.
With all due respect, Captain, I don't think that's a good idea.
Are you afraid I'll lose?
Not
Afraid
necessarily.
more like certain.
Like, like Cleo will just cross his arms and suck in air through his teeth. No.
And as I hear that, I just not casually, but very roughly put an armored hand onto Private Cleo's shoulder. Some things are worth dying for.
It's not that I think you'll die. It's just medical supplies are, hard to come by on this planet. So I think we should avoid any needless bloodshed.
No, it's not needless. It's for sport, entertainment. And that low-born wretch insulted me.
Sir, I think your honor could be better repaired by a couple glasses of Amasec than getting your teeth kicked in.
I think I would win. I think I have the better of Hector.
Cleo raises hands. Fine, then. Fine. Let us go see the Arch-Confessor.
Nice. You enter a very quiet room, smelling a little bit of... it smells like burnt candles and stonework, chipped stonework. The work here has not been done by you, but by skilled artisans and a tech priest who has coordinated the work. Most of the chandeliers, the mirrors, the ornate symbols all arrived with the Arch-Confessor as he stood and pointed, and you carried it in and built the base. The Confessor is standing and praying out to a window. He is illuminated by light as he sort of slowly turns around, holding one hand up in the air. You can see the jewelry hanging from his hand, and his eyes are sort of pale, almost shiny as he turns around. There is a holy presence about him. He's just going to hold his hand out, almost like like he's displaying something in his palm, as you walk down the small steps and into the room. Do you do anything in particular, or how do you walk in?
Captain Morpheus walks in, chest perked out, chin slightly tilted up, and at the top of his lungs says, "Private Cleo and Private G have been up to gambling again, Arch-Confessor. How should they be punished?"
No, we haven't.
What do the rest of you do?
Gambling? That's I'm sure against Ministorum rules. We wouldn't gamble.
Captain Morpheus turns his head back around to look at G and Cleo and says, "You know, when you leave your mics on, you can't be held responsible for what you said."
I didn't have my mic on, man. We were whispering.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't hear you all whispering.
Then.
Never mind in that case.
The Arch-Confessor will just
No,
continue
I think
praying.
these false accusations should be...
A slight incense is burning in the other end of the room, and it's starting to fill the room.
I understand if you don't want a medic. It is completely understandable. I will relieve myself of duty. If you feel these accusations are accurate. Captain Morpheus.
Captain Morpheus gives both G and Private Cleo the biggest shit-eating grin that he can.
Cleo, do a will test.
Oh. Oh, no. No.
What did I miss? What did I miss?
No. 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 Ugh. I am about to die. Good night, everyone.
Private being the first one.
Wait, no, I got inspiration. I have inspiration.
Oh
my god, he's actually...
No, even.
Being the first to step into the room, you are going to turn around and say, "Stand at attention."
Ostral noticing something strange in the air as it grew colder. He will do as instructed by Private Cleo or that which possesses him.
The Arch-Confessor casts a judgmental gaze in your direction.
I'm gonna go ahead and fall in line with Private Cleo, as he seems to not be himself.
Children of the Emperor, you have served me well. The emeralds. He's going to hold his hand out.
Ostral gives a nudge to...
As everyone else is doing it, I shall do it.
You drop the emeralds in his hand and he sort of turns them slowly. As he studies them for a little while, his gaze slowly rises to meet yours. You can see his pale face. He does not look his age, but you can tell that something is a little bit off. There is something unnatural about his appearance. He is quite tall. He's going to tower over most of you. He has a stern and chiseled face, and he has a piercing and intelligent gaze as he sort of shifts from one of you to the next. He studies each of you as you approach. He is wearing a very beautiful ornate ecclesiarchy robe and jewelry. He has unusually pale skin and deep green eyes. His hair, that you can tell used to be black, is almost completely grayed. He's going to look back up. And you killed them all. Were there any children?
None that we were aware of, my liege. Although I am not familiar with the mutants' physiology, they did not seem to be juvenile in their appearance.
His mouth is going to open. It's going to raise one eyebrow, slowly looking over, pondering as he closes his fist. Then they have another home. Still, do you consider your expedition a success, Captain?
Not if we didn't kill all the inhabitants that you wished us to kill.
And what did you learn of this unusual cult?
They like their daemons, and we like them extra crispy. As I pull out an Iron Faith incense grenade and chuck it up into the air twice, and then put it back into my belt.
His gaze is gonna go from your eyes sort of down to your boots. He's gonna draw a breath and slowly turn around his robe, following him back to the altar. He puts the emeralds down and sort of just looks back and forth a couple of times.
As the resident demonologist of the group, my lord, I am more able to give you a more educated statement of what the colonel attempted to explain. They seem to be communing with foul demons that alter one's physiology.
Do not utter that word here. He's going to hold a finger up. Creatures from beyond, yes?
Of course. My apologies. These creatures seem to alter one's physiology to more suited its environment and circumstances, presenting unnatural toughness and agility. At least the agility seems to be quite well defined, as well as keeping the host alive, even though by all means it should be cut down.
His breath goes a little more shallow and his eyes flicker. You can tell that he's like deeply concerned about this as he looks down on his book again. If there are more of those creatures out there, do not slay them all. Bring one of them to me so I can pry his mind. He strokes a knife, a ritual knife on the altar. Is that understood?
Yes, my Arch-Confessor. And I pull out the purple panther pelt and display it all wide like it. And I say, we will need access to the armory to re-equip ourselves to fight these foes. And I present this wonderful purple panther pelt to you, which I think will match your pale complexion and green eyes magnificently, my lord.
Nice. Do a fellowship test. You can choose which one. Probably not intimidate. Doesn't sound like it would work.
I'm gonna use
because
command.
intimidating
I'm
the
gonna
Arch-Confessor
command
is a
him
good
to my
idea.
kid.
Nah. Command is probably... Well,
Can I just roll a
you can
fellowship?
come across as commanding and request access to the armory, absolutely. However, you sort of stutter and your voice cracks as you begin to speak and you...
Point. Make point.
Okay.
Oh god, yeah, it can happen.
You
Wait,
literally
second,
choke on your own voice as you try to speak. You can't utter a single word. You just cough violently out in the room. And as you fumble, he sort of just throws a gaze in your direction and then raises his eyebrows dismissively. Is something wrong, Captain?
And I roll willpower to try to save myself.
No,
Save
there is no
yourself.
saving yourself. You dropped the moment and it passed.
I just look down at my feet and I say, nothing more, Arch-Confessor. I'll try again later.
He's gonna pull out a map and start pointing at it with the knife. Point which route you traveled.
Showing, pulling out a similar map as the one from Arch-Confessors. Oscar will show his own map filled with notes from the cave as well as all the route that we have taken in order to reach Arch Terminal.
Nice. Do a navigate surface tests.
Okay. Oof, I'm gonna inspiration it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, for fuck's sake, what are those rolls? I failed.
Not impressed at all. He's just going to take the data slate from you and sort of plot in coordinates. This is where we have been so far. Our interrogations have successfully revealed the history of these people. Long after Rund was enveloped by the warp anomaly, when society collapsed and the cities went dark, all of the information in the world was in the hand, supposedly, of 4 cardinals. Are you taking notes? He looks over at you, annoyed.
Captain Morpheus gives a deep bow and says, yes, taking notes now.
Supposedly, they came together and proposed an end to conflict and bloodshed. Believing that humans had reverted to 4 basic archetypes, they founded their own societies and let the people decide who to follow. Their descendants today are known as the students of the Archaic, the Old Order, the Emperor's disciples, and the various nomadic tribes. He walks over dramatically, gesturing. under the light. In our previous attempts to extract information, we know that they will commit heresies, destroy relics, even commit suicide, or refuse to talk to prevent us from learning the location of their precious vaults. This may stem from a superstition passed down from the cardinals to never compromise humanity in the face of outsiders. It may simply be a matter of trust or technique. He's going to sort of gesture with his knife, a carving motion, as he looks at you, Morpheus. Regardless, they are complicit in hiding their history from the Imperium. He pauses for a little while, just looking at all of you.
I'm certain that with enough specimens and time, my lord, you will surely reach the information you so desire.
He's going to draw breath again. I have taken the liberty of giving names to the natural flora and fauna of this world, as it is known thus far. Do not read more into them. They are placeholders until this world is brought back into the Emperor's embrace. He hands you back your data slate, updated with various locations.
Yes, my lord.
You can see all the names of various forests and places where he believes, or at least have heard, that there are other settlements.
Also, it's my data slate. Fuck you, you don't have none.
He's going to hand it to all of you, so you now have an updated map.
Nice. And
Cleo.
Captain Morpheus is gonna make one more attempt for the razzle dazzle with the purple pelt. The purple panther pelt.
You pull out the finger. Run us through it. What happens? James,
God.
Morpheus.
Captain Morpheus, one more time, pulls out the purple panther pelt to flash it. My lord, your gray hair, your pale, fair skin, and your green eyes shall be enlivened with this wonderful purple panther pelt. I can just see it magnificently draped across your shoulders, my lord, making you look even more ferocious than you do now. And I'm gonna try to charm
You're getting his
the
face
shit out of him.
No, can I have access to the armory, please?
Fate point, fate point. I'm gonna use a fate point again.
Yeah.
Oh my god, you're gonna run out of...
Oh god!
2 degrees success. It finally
You
succeeded.
managed to stutter out a sentence. It's not overly impressive or convincing, but he takes the pelt and kind of gives
We
it
need
a
access
look.
to the armory, my lord. Desperate.
Your gesture is well meant, however misguided. I will speak with Hector.
Thank you, my lord.
He puts it on the altar.
My lord, one final question.
Yes,
Where did
child.
you find Hector?
He
From what-
is going to sort of, with a half-open mouth, slowly draw breath as he approaches you, raises both eyebrows. You will find, if you live long, and on this mission, you will learn that you do not find the Inquisition. The Inquisition finds you.
Captain Morpheus just gives one head nod. Understood,
He,
my lord.
His gaze sort of falters a little bit, and you can tell that he's sort of trying to tell that he's also a servant of the Inquisition, and he has absolutely no choice in the matter.
Captain Morpheus just gives him one last look with a heavy head nod of understanding. We were all just pawns in this grand game.
He doesn't respond.
At least we may be useful.
He,
I'm go ahead and turn around and say, with my leave, my Arch-Confessor.
he mutters sort of under his breath. Is there one among you who knows to conduct a proper interrogation?
Private Cleo, what do you have in your medical bag?
Cleo kind of a little shaken, like from the whole, the ordeal. He's going to. Yes, I have many things that could make a person rather uncomfortable if applied properly or improperly, depending on the perspective of it. I have some poisons, some just simple medical supplies.
Okay, this is taking too long. Oscar, can you handle it?
While I appreciate the attempts, yes, I do present myself with some limited knowledge regarding interrogation. However, I'm able to directly inquire their minds also, my lord.
I think Oscar will be able to handle the interrogation while me and Private Cleo apply the physical punishment. Such a shame, Cleo. Such a shame.
Nod.
With this, G, at this point, really, really sweating, will actually pull out a small scalpel and say, 20 minutes and he'll spill his guts.
Why the fuck are you sweating so fucking profusely? Do you not feel this fucking central AC in here?
Yeah, there is AC, by the way.
I'm not feeling the best.
It's a moderate temperature.
I'm not feeling the best.
Can
I think I may
I,
have cut myself while I was out in the bush by myself.
Can I roll
beginner's
awareness
perspective.
to see if I would notice why he would be sweating so profusely?
That is between you.
You wouldn't have to, just ask him.
Okay, Private G, are you hot?
On fire.
Cleo, check his temperature.
Cleo will head over the diagnoster and just perform a base Medicaid check just to check on him. Not actually doing anything, but just checking on him with the diagnoster, basically giving him an exam. There we go.
9 degrees.
Beautiful.
Yeah, you would see elevated temperature and heart rate.
I mean, with it, what I know, is it just stress or is he actually sick?
Basically, he's cut himself while being out in the. Before you actually met up, he's scratched himself quite deeply, so it has on the shoulder. So he has. Maybe.
He would be examining you, and then he pats your shoulder, pulling it back. G, do you want to explain this? Oh, G. Arch-Confessor, if I may take leave to take G to the medical bay, I do believe he has a rather serious staph infection in his shoulder. It is nothing majorly serious, but it does need to be looked at right away, sir, my lord.
He turns around slowly, his pale face sort of looking down at you in pity. I was going to say, So, you are able to interrogate them?
I will be
Yes,
able to.
my lord, we will be able to interrogate them.
Then I want you to travel to the Hom tribe. The area is marked as Tempe on your map. We have interrogated some of their tribesmen before. They squeal and whine like normal humans when questioned. Their tears are genuine, and they do not look as malformed as some of the other inhabitants here. They have a distant connection to the fourth cardinal, the Nomad. Find out if he passed anything down to them, if they know anything at all. Secondarily, find or claim information about this forsaken world. They are nomadic by nature. Perhaps they know of some other villages or ruins of the lost world. Perhaps they know where we can find the descendants of the other cardinals. He looks at your torture equipment. You are free to use all the tools at your disposal.
Yes,
Thank
my
you, my
lord. We shall ransack the armory to properly equip ourselves to deal with this imminent threat.
That is between you and Hector. Your curiosity
have
and
a bone to
eagerness
pick
is
with him.
appreciated.
Yes, my cardinal.
He gives a single nod and turns back to the altar.
Come on, men. It's time for us to go ransack the armory. Against Hector's will. Finally, the agents on this world will get good equipment and not die needlessly wearing flak armor out in 104-degree weather.
You leave the room, and there is no door. So
I'm
this
taking-
shrine room door is leaves.
I'm taking G to the medical room right now. Just hold on a minute, Captain Morpheus. I need to go check this out.
As you walk down the stairs, the door to the medical room is closed. There is a guard there, however. A guardsman standing outside.
I'm going to wave at guardsmen and dragging G along like a parent would do, like a child who just got in trouble, like at a convenience store. Hello, sir. I need to get in. My friend here has a rather severe infection, and I need to deal with it.
He opens the visor. Why wasn't this reported? How was he
It
injured?
was just, I assume a scratch that festered when we were out on a mission, sir, and I just only learned of it due to his high fever and, well, general malaise.
The medical servitor is busy. He's conducting an
I
operation.
can do it myself.
How long will this take? He looks down, sort of
5-10 minutes.
confused as he scrolls through his data slate. Why wasn't I informed?
As I just said, I just found out.
All right.
I thought it...
Don't disturb the medical servitor.
Yes.
He's gonna slowly open the door. Sort of sliding this simple, not heavy glass door to the side. You look inside. A medical servitor is walking sort of slowly sideways, picking up some equipment and operating on a man who's laying on one of the metal slabs. He has an open, gaping wound in his chest, and you can see just his bloodied uniform cut open and sort of laid over the side of the metal slab. He's just covered in red, and he has his mouth half open.
I'm going to help G first. I'm going to use like some of the supplies there, since I'm not always going to use mine, but I'm going to go ahead and get the I'm going to doctor him up to make sure this infection is gone, get him some antibiotics, so on and so forth.
Yeah, you just
With all
improvise
my
like
gear.
Okay, so
you improvise a little bed with a desk. You put him on it, clean the wounds.
Oh, that plus 20 bonus to Medicaid checks is very helpful. Success with 14 additional degrees.
You succeed. This is like a MacGyver scene,
So-
like making a mine out of a rock. You just take like basic, like sink equipment, not even surgery equipment, and you wash it, and you somehow manage to perfectly heal him up. Can you describe it?
I'm gonna
what happened?
I'm gonna give him a little pill bottle, slap it in his hand. 2 of these a day, 1 in the morning, 1 at night. Take them, or you are going to get another infection, and it's going to be worse than this one. Do you understand that?
yes.
Okay, good.
Just actually, whenever he actually went in and took off, you'll actually see that essentially his back would have been covered in tattoos at one stage, but they've been sliced through so that the scar tissue has now actually sort of distorted them and covered them up, broken them up, and everything else. And the actual deep cut, you can see that essentially what he's done is he's basically got a stapler and gone staple, 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 and basically put a bit of gauze over it.
Private G, are you a fucking idiot?
Oh, Cleo, you can just hear her go, oh no. Like, just at the sight, like, why? Like,
Yeah,
why?
Captain Morpheus just puts a hand on your back, feeling it like such beautiful skin, now ugly, disfigured. What the fuck is wrong with you, man? What
I'm
the
gonna-
fuck did this to you?
Cleo and
Cleo's
Morpheus
also
inspiration
gonna
points.
make
And
a...
as you look and as you look further up, you'll actually see a tattoo at the bottom of his neck which says 99901-1, and you can actually see the scar of what looks like metal which had been rubbing around his neck.
Inspiration point.
I'm gonna
Cleo
take
says nothing.
I'm gonna take a mental image of that picture, and I'm going to quietly walk over to Oscarl and whisper in his ear to research that number.
Cleo's gonna make an awareness check. He's just going to glance over at what the medical servitor's doing to make sure, like, you know, it's actually helping the man. And I have absolutely no clue.
You just cast a glimpse over. This is very complex surgery. His heart is exposed. The room is
Yeah,
supposed. You know that the room is supposed to be sterile, and you have entered with like dirty, very very dirty clothes.
Well, I'm going to shoo everyone out, and then I'm going to clean up everything. Like, I'm going to put like little baggies over my boots and like clean up everything. Like, mop in the corner, dry off the floor.
It's gonna
I
take-
res-
Yeah, it's gonna take about 40 minutes. You literally like go in between the ridges and clean by hand. Take a little like almost toothbrush and clean the floor, clean every surface.
I'm
Finally,
fine with that.
you sort of spray the sink down and get the last dirt down in the sink, and then sterilize it, and without
I'm going to
breathing too heavily, slowly leave.
I'm going to, after I clean everything up, I'm going to rejoin the group. I look a little haggard and tired. Man, do I miss being a medic. He says with a hint of sarcasm.
Nice.
If I ever die, probably the best thing you could do, or if I'm ever incapacitated permanently, give me about a week and then turn me into a medical servitor.
You leave the medical room. Right next to it is your living quarters. There is a row of various rooms. You all share one room with 6 beds. You also know that there are a bunch of civilians, families of various officers and so on, living in improvised bomb shelters in a natural cave underground. And I'm going to leave it over to you. You enter your living quarters.
So So as G enters the room, he'll look for essentially a bunk that has been vacated by its previous occupant. So it is, and after collecting his stuff, will slide his small locker under the bed. So it is, and then basically go lie down, face plant into the hardest pillow in the world, and drift off to a nice sleep.
Do you snore?
Yeah.
I snore like a bastard.
You're gonna hear this loud rumbling coming from the top bunk. Instantly.
The room shakes.
There's a regicide set on the table. A couple of bottles of Amasec. Drinking is not an issue here. You seem to have unlimited supplies of Amasec. The soldiers are kept entertained. You even have your own cogitator in your room. Other than that, the room contains very basic equipment. And if you go to the character screen, your list of characters, at the top you will see Arc Terminal Storage. As guardsmen, you all have access to all of this equipment. Most of it is in the hangar.
Cleo will just find he'll. Now, question: does everybody have to be constantly in their flak armor, or can they take it off for a while?
You can do anything you can imagine. So yeah, of course you can take it off.
Cleo would go and get all just basically get some plain clothes on, take all his armor off. Really, what he's wearing is just a short sleeve T-shirt. The you can see a tattoo running down the whole length of his left arm. And he's going to go find a corner in the room and just start not taking apart, but just cleaning all of his weapons, especially his las rifle or his long las. Just come on. Stupid thing has been jamming up. Don't understand why.
Very formidable, able to jam a last run. You have quite a skill.
No, it's the actual. He's going to take out the las pack and show you putting it back in. It sticks, so he has to hit it in a little bit more. The catch mechanism is just being painful this time again. I have no clue why. He's going to open it up. And he's going to pull out just a chunk of flesh, and a chunk of flesh with little bone shards in it. I have no clue where this is from. I have no clue at all. And he's just going to just throw it into the trash can that he's brought nearby.
Let's not look well on it.
So, Oscar, how'd you rate our whole mission?
We fulfilled our purpose. We offered divine vengeance upon the heathens, as well as acquired important intelligence and resources for the Imperial Inquisition. We have gone above and beyond.
Well, that's good that you think so, and frankly, I'm happy with how these things went. Just wish I could have done a little better.
Well, fear not. The number of casualties is well below the acceptable amount.
Oh no, I agree with that. That still doesn't detract from the fact, he just motions to the castigator heavy crossbow sitting beside him. Just referencing the fact of,
Much like in life, combat, it's, nobody can predict what and when will happen. You might say that it's all just the roll of a dice when somebody dies or succeeds. It's succeeds. However, know this, all plans fail once you want to enact them. It's best to enter in such situation with a clear mind and be willing to take the decision that will leave the least regrets to live with.
That's true.
I was muted
Something I
on the
just
stream.
want to ask. Cleo will ask in whisper tones after seeing one of those things. Are nightmares common?
Oh, of course. I can tell you from experience, you will not be sleeping too well for the next 20 days.
Ah. Oh well. More time for guard duty then.
It will not help.
His pressure point.
Once you sleep, it will be exactly, you will feel it for 40 minutes. Doesn't matter how long, how short you sleep, the dreams will last for 40 minutes.
Well, isn't that absolutely wonderful?
It's okay.
At least they can be killed.
Certainly. They rely on our power after all. Should we deny that power, they are left with nothingness and return to the void.
Nice. Do you is there like an aura of? Is there any way to sense your psychic powers, Oscar?
Not necessarily. Yes, actually, because I'm sustaining the power as we speak. So yeah, there is a way.
Yeah, there's gonna be this electric sort of tingling sensation in the air.
However, fear not. Consecutive exposure to such entities will result in you being, well, numb to their presence, and you will in turn resemble a person that can keep calm, like me.
Would you consider what you are calm or, you know? And he's just going to put his hand up to his head and do the crazy thing, just spin his hand around.
The way I see it, you are the irrational one.
How so?
Because when I look at such an entity, I feel nothing to be afraid of. Therefore, your reaction seems to me unnatural.
He's just going to exhale and just go back to his stuff. That's a fair point.
I'm certain that if you live long enough, you will understand the fruits of your labor and how both your mind and body will mold in an instrument fit for the Emperor to wield.
All I am is a tool of the Emperor, and this I am fine with. Yeah.
Besides, do you wish to partake in a simple game of regicide?
I would love to. He's going to set his guns aside and crack his knuckles. I would like to see how well I can play. Haven't played it in quite a while. And he's going to sit down, crack open a thing of Amasec, and kind of do a cheer sort of thing to you as he waits for you.
Oscar will not partake into the Amasec, however, he will nod cheerfully and he will take the first move.
And the game begins. Just
Nice.
going back and forth, I guess.
You can both do a logic test.
Yeah. Or trade gambling, whichever you want.
If you have trade gambling, you get +10. But
I have none of those, so what would I do?
minus 20.
Just roll logic.
Just roll logic, you get a natural -20. The system will do it for you.
Holy shit!
Ooh.
Get your ass kicked.
Wow.
Oscar just place you under the table. It's not even close. Like your last chip falls, and it's just like it just like keeps picking off pieces. The last like 10 moves, and you just
Cleo's
there
leaning
was
on his
not
chair.
even any resistance. Cleo.
Cleo's
Oscar.
leaning on his chair, drinking from the Amasec bottle, and just he smacks his lip as the end of the game comes. Well,
Private King, you have made 2 mistakes. First was playing a regicide game with an unclear mind. Second of all is playing a gambling game with a psyker capable of reading your thoughts.
Cleo's just going to close his eyes and just slowly, the other hand, just flip you off and just give you a thumbs up as he chuckles.
If it helps you, I did not use my psychic powers. That's how bad you are.
Ow. That hurts. He's going to set down the Amasec bottle. That really hurts.
I'm only stating facts.
And that's the part that hurts. Ah. Am I in pain from this trouncing? Yes. Is it well deserved? Oh, incredibly so.
I do not need my psychic powers to destroy your soul.
You've done it with a simple game of regicide, Oscar. You fool. You mad fool. Oh, how did I lose? I shouldn't have moved then. Oh.
Did you drink while you're doing this? Did you drink?
Yeah, I was drinking some Amasec, man.
Yeah, the Amasec is pretty strong. It's just made from the like nearby flora. And do you go to bed and have a little nap? You want to do anything before you sleep?
I would.
Of course.
I'm gonna
go.
Oh, sorry. No.
First, I would take off my environmental suit and pull out its potential coil and stick it into a port in order to recharge it.
Yes.
That's all.
Nice.
Yeah, Captain Morpheus is going to head down to
During
the armory.
their game. Go ahead.
No, you can do your thing first. I'm just going to head down to the armory.
Oh, yeah, it's very short. Basically, during their game, G would have gone, woken up, and suddenly felt very exposed on the top bunk, and just slowly climbed down, seen their game, seen that Cleo was sitting drinking while playing a game of Logic, and making a mental note of that whilst touching his his pouch with his cards. That is, and then would have climbed under the bottom bunk with his pillow and gone to sleep there.
Nice. Awesome. As you leave the door, you can see the rest of the crew go to sleep. Most of the lights in the station have been turned off. There are a few lumens sort of out in the stairs, and you pass a couple of other guards. They just have white shirts, sweat stains under their armpits. They sort of meet you in the hallway. One is quite muscular and big. He just bumps into you and gives a little chuckle. Ha! Goes over to his living quarters. You walk over to the stairs, Morpheus, all alone. There's no one in it. And you walk up as you can hear the hollow footsteps from this great metal stair leading up to the armory, slightly above the living quarters. The door is closed. What do you do?
I am going to switch to the armory frequency.
The universal frequency broadcast to the entire station. You have access to that as the commander of your regiment, but you are ordered to use it sparingly.
Okay, well, I'm gonna get on the horn. This is Captain Morpheus. Need to put in a requisition order to the armory. Over.
Nice. Do a command test.
Okay, I am going to use one of my inspirations to fucking
You
reroll
roll
that.
1 inspiration point, yes. Ooh. Alright. After a little while, you're going to hear, copy. One of the guardsmen is going to come up to the door, and so speaking into his microbead, you wait together for about 5 minutes as he walks off. The door to the armory opens, and Hector is standing there. Yes?
I need to put in some requisitions for my team before we head out. I gotta go ahead from the Arch-Confessor to come down here.
You are starting to annoy me. Has anything changed from yesterday?
Yes, I won't be so much of a dickhead.
He looks over his shoulder, looks back at you. And why is your regiment so special?
We're working as a strike team for the Arch-Confessor. Going in, burning out the heretics. And we've come across creatures from the beyond that we're very ill-equipped to deal with.
You have faced the citizens of this world? They are easily defeated.
These are the citizens of this world.
Hardly an accomplishment.
Denzians of the warp.
He's just going to straighten his back and just look back at you. And do you have any
Yeah.
evidence of this?
I pull out the one Iron Faith incense grenade I have left. Well, I had to use one-on-one Daemon. Luckily, Arskarl was able to soul blast the second Daemon.
This is not evidence. It is only an item.
We've given the report with visual recordings to the Arch-Confessor. We need better equipment.
Show me the recording.
Bud, you may not want that.
Show him the recording. I look at him happily. I grab the data slat. Oh, wait till you see this, buddy. And I scroll to about an hour and 15 minutes into the fucking recording. And I click play. Click, here you go. Hand it to him.
You hand the pic recorder over, and this
We're gonna
Blair
cause
Witch
demonic
Project home
incursion.
video starts playing. You can hear screaming orders. Which part of the battle is this?
The Daemon, the first guy that gets headshot or whatever, gets decimated. He gets resurrected right in front of us, scares the shit out of everyone besides me and Askellon. I'm like cutting people in half. I'm showing him for my recording. I want him to watch me. Yeah,
So
yeah.
Isan
Isan gets his head
It was Isan,
gets
not
fully
Askellon.
caved in.
right. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll show him all that.
And who killed the daemon?
I believe it was the Iron Faith incense grenade or Askellon blasting it.
Askellon killed it with the incense grenade. Like he used the incense to surround it and just crush it into nothing. Just disappeared,
Yeah.
if I remember correctly.
I banished it to the wall, basically. Yeah. Back home. Yeeted the demon back home.
Leave.
As
You're not welcome here anymore.
As the camera pans over and showing this horrible, like, terrifying creature in a cave just barely lit up by a torchlight. You can see this grenade sort of tumbling over, landing next to it, and a loud blast. This bluish light just envelops it and sucks it in. And you can see the black energy just dissipate in the room. Hector looks at it completely unfazed. Looks back at you. And you were the one who threw the grenade?
Yes.
Do a deceive test for me. You get a plus 30.
Well, he is the one that threw the grenade, right?
Are you?
Yeah, I did. But I'll do
Alright,
deceive.
then you can do a charm test for me, plus 30.
Ooh. What the fuck? Can I use a fate point to re-roll that? Just because that's just what the hell.
Your,
You've used all your fate points, though, haven't
your
you?
charm is excellent, and you manage to convince him. It's not too hard. You have the grenade in your hand. You have the footage. He raises an eyebrow, sort of dismissingly. Very well. I can help you. Are you going out tomorrow again?
Yes, we are.
Come with me. He presses the keypad a couple of times, the door closes. You step into a very, very cold room. Rows of weapons and exotic tools on the walls. He's going to walk back further into the room. You can just see these endless rows of repeating rifles, last weapons, magazines. He stands there for a little while. Well?
Do you have any anti-psyker weapons?
He raises an eyebrow. I strongly hesitate to give you this. I do not think that these primitive tribals have any mastery of the warp.
These will only be used sparingly. These aren't things that we're just going to draw out and use willy-nilly.
Do a... you can all do a requisition test.
I actually have 2 requisitions I want to try and get.
You can do them now. If you have them before. If you don't have any, well, you automatically have it from this session. So, if you have more saved up, you can also use those.
Yeah, no, fuck this. I'm keeping my requisition.
And this is
for
basically your commander. This is Morpheus using all of you as a reference. And the reputation of this regiment to request equipment.
Trying to find all like the modifiers for how available something is. Oof. Oof. Oh. I ain't gonna even try again. Actually, I will. I have one more. 1 or 2 more. Oh, come on. Nope. Nah. It's just, I decided to fail with 7 additional degrees every time.
This is like a long scene. Morpheus is standing there pointing at various equipment. You have a large bag, sort of a weapon bag that you unzip, put on the table. Hector is standing there watching you, not really stopping you at all. As you request weapons, he sort of logs it in his file, and you put it in the bag.
All I need
Yeah,
is a
one
red.
Could I verbally say anything to try and see if he would allow me to grab stuff?
You can try to basically steal something. It's highly risky though. You risk losing everything that you requisition.
Look to Hector, and I'm gonna ask if
Everything that everyone
you-
requisitions.
would you recommend a heavy bolter for dealing with some of the creatures?
I would recommend a heavy bolter to deal with anything.
Man of taste.
I nod my head.
Oh,
and,
come on.
I'm gonna go ahead and just grab the heavy bolter. Look at it. The sergeant should be able to use this.
If you can get me a silencer. Oh wait, no, never mind. I can't even use that. I'm a fool.
Sorry, just to actually sort of interject. The sergeant already has a heavy bolter. We need ammo for it.
Okay, yeah. I need ammo. That's what I'm gonna say to him. I need ammo for the heavy bolter.
You will make a requisition test at. Fuck me, -30.
Yeah, I can't do that.
The sergeant has a heavy bolter.
Yeah,
You can do this later. Do
He
you
has a
wanna-
heavy
Yeah, we'll do
stubber.
this later.
Do you want
Yeah,
to
we'll-
try to
we'll
steal
continue.
something, Morpheus?
Yeah, yoink something from the Inquisition. Do it, dude.
Suddenly.
Yeah, I'm
Coward.
gonna,
This
You
is
won't.
a GM warning. It might not end well.
I'm gonna look at
But
I'm gonna look at Hector and I'm gonna say, can you take me to where you have your anti-psyker weapons? I really need to see what you have.
Hector will point to the end of the room. Are you blind? Can you not see it? It's right there. He keeps pointing.
Yep, I go in and do I look in to see if there's any melee weapons, really. I look to Hector and I say, do y'all have any melee weapons for, any sanctified power weapons?
Of course. Yeah. Only for the Inquisition, but if you have the correct paperwork.
I look at him and I pull out my rosette
You do
because
not
I'm a
have
drone
one.
agent. What? Wait, I
I don't
don't?
have one.
No,
We're just
not from the
guardsmen, dude.
Inquisition. Yeah,
Oh,
we're
no,
not
we're
from the
guardsmen.
Inquisition,
Oh,
dude.
this is cool. Oh, I love this. Okay, cool.
Yeah, you think you're in the Inquisition, bitch? You're a foot
I
soldier.
thought I was back to the lowest
Nah,
rank
man.
possible.
Yeah, you're a little
Oh,
grunt.
I'm a conscript.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Sergeant. Or what are
Yeah,
you?
I'm on
Captain. Captain. Yeah.
hmm I'm gonna look over to the power glaive, the Ordio Malleus power glaive, just lined up on the wall. And I look up at it. I point to it and I look to Hector and I say, "This."
Hector, by this point, is growing a little bit grumpy, looking at his chrono. The time has almost passed. You will soon have to leave.
I understand. Is he just constantly staring at me?
Occasionally we'll
Good.
tap foot on the ground, just a little bit impatient, shifting back and forth.
If you could try, you would know that I would like to get a Camila Lion cloak.
Alright guys, all of you can roll this on your downtime later.
Okay, so that was for that power glaive.
And when you're done, Hector will close the door. You will go back to your living quarters and fall asleep. All of you will wake up to Christmas Day, Christmas morning. There's presents wrapped all over the ground and all over the table. And that's where we'll round off the session.
Bolter ammo. Heavy bolter ammo.
Go ahead and
Oh,
roll.
You
Yeah.
got the, you got the glaive though. Dang.
Actually, he needs
I'm
to
gonna.
check its
I'm not gonna
ability.
do the heavy bolter again. I'm gonna do something else now. I tried twice.
Anyway.
Yeah, remember you only have the requisition for these characters, and you've been here for 4
3
sessions.
days.
Is it?
Oh, yeah. Or, no, wait.
I think this is the 4th, right?
Yeah, this is the 4th because I get my.
Yeah. So you all have 4
25.
requisition tests.
Here's my
Oh.
question. So, near unique item, can I get some Tears of the Emperor?
No, you cannot
near
get
unique is not available on this station.
Okay, okay.
I've used all 4 of my things, and all 4 of them failed.
You can only go up to extremely rare. Unless it's a planet-specific thing.
Great.
Okay. Eventually, while getting prepared in the morning,
Yeah, feel
you
free to
see-
roleplay anything you want in like the living quarters and stuff. I'm gonna be back and
I'm
forth.
gonna do an Argent Globe.
eventually, would you also like to play once again with Austral Regicide to get your vengeance?
I got it.
I am. Cleo's waking up. He's let his hair down, so it's a little long before he puts it back up. Just I need to cut my hair. Oscar.
Yeah?